Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Kimberly Verbeke, and we will speak about very important topics such as longevity and how it is important to take care of yourself when you do well and how to do even better. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Elena. How are you?
Great, great to see you, and thank you so much for uh, being willing to be a guest on our podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and let's speak about longevity today because it is so important to be well and see yourself young for a long time for business owners and entrepreneurs because they want to achieve big goals and also they want to feel good and look good when they do that.
Totally agree. Well, I have a clinic in Texas, a small clinic. I work with people both one-on-one and in person, and I work with people remotely. So just like this, right? Over a Zoom appointment or over a video chat. I'm a naturopathic practitioner, so I'm trained to address the root cause. Um, most people are used to symptom-based medicine, right? Where you go in with a symptom and then you're prescribed a medication that gets rid of the symptom, but it doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily address what's happening inside. My goal is to address the root cause so your body can heal and you can move on with your life and be healthy.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, it is so important what you just said that uh, the symptoms is just alarms. Yes, alarms. So the problem will be taken care of. And when the symptoms are shut off, that problem becomes a real problem because it goes to chronic diseases and then it causes other disorders in the body. So
Yeah.
let's speak about the way how people really can keep healthy because there are so many now new technologies and I also use one of them which I so happy to have it for the last 10 years. So I would like to know which method do you use to be happy and healthy yourself and also help your clients.
Well, I spent some time where I didn't feel well and I used a lot of technology. And then I started to take a step back and go, I have to be great at the basic things in order for those things to be kind of the cherry on top, right?
Mhm.
Um, I when I'm working with someone, I always tell them you can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. So you have to make changes. And often for people, that's managing their stress. I work with a lot of business owners, people
Mhm.
that are high performers. They're extremely busy, they're extremely driven, and often their health takes a back seat to their success until it can't, right? And they no longer have the ability to put into um, their business because they don't feel well. Um, and so getting people to understand that if you manage your sleep, if you manage your stress, if you eat nutritious, real food, if you move your body, if you spend time outside in the sunlight, in the water, those things heal us and they keep us healthy. And there's no way to out, like we often hear the example, you can't out exercise a bad diet. I think that's true. Like you have to do the things that nourish you at a baseline, right? To keep your body healthy. And so when you can get really people to buy into that and start to implement those things into their life, then you can start adding other things that will help also make them better. But I think you have to I'm a big believer that you have to get the basics down first. before you start adding other magical things.
Mhm. Yes, and I think that also very important to have the right mindset. Yeah, to see that the priority should be you, not
Yeah.
anything else. Because if you are not healthy, if you have pain, and if you have headaches, you cannot
Hmm.
focus anymore. You cannot be so much effective anymore. That's why it is so important to give priority to your health, because when you feel good, you can do so much more.
Totally agree. It's about, you know, I often explain to people exercise, for example. People will say, I don't have the energy to exercise. And I'm like, okay, start small. Walk for 15 minutes a day. Because as counterintuitive as it might seem, you have to use energy to make energy. So if you start exercising, your body's going to go, oh, wait, we're doing something. We need to make more energy. And you will start to feel more energetic. Um, when you get those base things right, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, we are like rechargeable batteries. Yes,
Yes.
can recharge. This is very interesting how people say I don't have energy. Do you
Hmm.
know, Kimberly, that in our body we have energy enough to light the big house or like even street? We can have so much energy, and even there are devices now which can take photo of our body and see that energy is coming out of us. Yes, that we like we have this aura which is different colors, yeah, showing in those pictures. And it is so important to understand that we have unlimited supply of energy which coming to us and through us.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
Yeah, so our body is just visible part of us, but we are not our body. We live in three planes simultaneously. We are spiritual being having
Hmm.
that high potential as thoughts. We also have middle potential, which is our intellect, and physical potential, which is the lowest one, which is body.
Hmm.
And this physical thing, which is our body, is constantly supplied from the universal energy which is comes to us and through us. And with thoughts, we give this energy the physical form. Yes, this is
Yeah.
how everything is created. So when I hear some people who say that I don't have energy, that is really showing that they don't understand who they really are and how to tap into that energy. Yes, like
Yeah.
in the right way, that there is something blocked so that they receive that energy and they don't.
And sometimes it's just their mindset.
Exactly, exactly. Because I think that what gives energy is to have the big goal. The big
Yes.
goal,
Hmm.
yes, that really makes you excited. Like,
People need
yes.
people need a purpose. Humans need a purpose, and that can look a lot of different ways. But I often say that I have a pretty large geriatric population that comes to see me, and sometimes men will be around retirement age and they'll start talking to me about retiring, and I go, time out. What are you going to do when you retire? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what are you going to do? And I talk to them about statistically what that looks like for men. The statistics are not great for men when they retire. And I think part of that is men are used to filling fulfillment or purpose through taking care of their families. They've always gone to work. That has been their purpose. And when they no longer feel like they have a purpose, it's really, really hard on their health. And I think humans in general, we need a purpose. We need something that makes us feel useful, that we matter, that we're contributing in a positive way. Um, and that helps keep our mindset in the right place.
Exactly, exactly. And that purpose should be big. That shouldn't be
Yes.
related just with time when you retire. It should be bigger than your life. Yes, or
Yes.
if you just retire, you just can celebrate that you have all this free time now to focus on that big goal and just live every day excited. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is really a lot with mindset. Yes. And unfortunately, people don't think big. Yes,
Yeah.
people are conditioned just to think in a certain way, like
Mm-hmm.
in certain blocks. Yes, like
Mm-hmm.
finish school, go to college, then go university or go for work, then you get retired, and that's finished. Like, and then they find themselves that nobody wants them. Like, what is life for? Yes, but actually, it is all just about yourself, how you see yourself, and your goals much should be so big that when you believe that it is possible, and this is first happens in your mind, then you can believe and have faith that it is there already for you, and you
Yes.
wake every day excited. This is how energy comes, and you don't even know where it comes and what changed, but this is changes. Even this, if you just connect to your big purpose in life, find who you are, this is how you will get energetic every day.
And it's the same thing with people when they're sick, right? I say sometimes that like people will come to see me and I start talking to them, I do a consult with them and I start listening to the language they use and how they talk about their self. And they have started to believe and see their self only as a sick person. And
Mhm.
until they change that mindset, it's very, very hard to heal. You have to, again, it's that energy, right? You have to see yourself as healthy. You have to believe you can be healthy. You have to believe you can heal. And you have to change your mindset around it. And it's really, truly powerful. I heard an oncologist on a speaking on a podcast several years ago. She was a functional medicine oncologist, and the person that was interviewing her said, you've been working with cancer patients for like 30 years. What do you think is the most important thing in their survival? And she said, oh, that's easy. It's their attitude.
Mhm.
She said, I've seen people that absolutely should have died that had such a positive attitude and outlook, positive energy, and they survived. And she said, I saw other people that had a relatively, not all cancer diagnoses are the same. And she said, they were diagnosed with something that was not very advanced, not fast moving, should have survived, had every reason they should have survived. And they just took that diagnosis and took it to heart and said, I'm dying, and they died. And that was really powerful to me to hear someone, say that that's working with people for that many years. Our mindset matters about everything, but absolutely about our health.
Yes, it is true because our conscious is just 5% and 95% is subconscious. So when people
Mhm.
believe that they are sick and that they're going to die,
Mhm.
and when they think about this way and through repetition, they impress it into their subconscious mind. This is how subconscious mind gets is as reality, because subconscious mind cannot differentiate what is real and what is imagined, and it doesn't understand if you want it or you don't want it,
Yeah.
because it is totally neutral, like a water. Some
Mhm.
people come to water and have joy and play, and some people just go to water and drown. Yes, so water doesn't have any like plus or minus. It is just neutral, and subconscious mind exactly the same. Our
Mhm.
subconscious mind like a goal-seeking mechanism. So
Mhm.
the thought which we impress into it through repetition, it becomes dominating thought, and our subconscious mind makes it reality.
Yeah, I
That is
agree.
Yes, that is why it is so important and to understand that our mind is very powerful tool, and you should be very conscious about the thoughts you have, because these thoughts, especially when they get sick, they start panicking. Yes,
Yeah.
especially when they hear this diagnosis, they cannot believe that it is reality. Yes, they just
Mm-hmm.
think it is just a dream, like when they sleep and they wake up and it will not, and they when they become panicking, and then it becoming dominating idea, and then they start thinking about this. And most of the times people use their imagination to damage themselves, like in a negative
Yeah.
way.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens.
Yeah. I totally agree. I completely agree. It's I even will say to people, like I'll be working with them and they'll tell me, maybe a close relationship, whether it's a parent or a sibling or a friend, but someone in their life that brings very negative energy. Just, some people are toxic and they're bringing that energy around the person. And I always recommend that they create boundaries,
Mhm.
because you don't want that when you're trying to heal. You need to have boundaries there set up for yourself so that you're not constantly engaging with that negative attitude or negative energy. I think that's really important.
Yes, and another thing is to understand that the conscious mind has ability to accept and reject.
Yes.
Like before, we said that subconscious mind doesn't have that. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
get emotional about something, and most of people don't know this and get emotional negatively, and this is
Mm-hmm.
how it becomes like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
But conscious mind can accept or reject, and this is so good to know that. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever you hear, you know that you have choice. You can
Yeah.
accept it or you can reject it. You can say no, it's not true, I'm not going to do that. It is
Yes.
not real, it is not real, I will build my own reality. And this is so powerful, because you can build your reality with using power of your mind. And
Mm-hmm.
again, these tools which we have, imagination is so powerful. With this tool in our mind, like a workshop, we create everything. And even
Mm-hmm.
if we look around us, we can see that everything has been created twice. Right, everything what we have, like phone, pen, whatever, yes, everything in this room, first it
Mm-hmm.
came in the mind of person who built it, yeah, that picture, the design, and then it came to physical form, and everything around us just came from that energy, and we are that energy, and we are given that power to use our thoughts and generating ideas to give them physical form. So it is totally related to our health. And that
Mm-hmm.
is why how you say that people who had really serious situation, they stayed alive, because
Mm-hmm.
they rejected that idea and they stayed positive, and they saw
Yes.
themselves that they will live, that they have
Yes.
a lot to do. Yes, they're not ready to live. Yes, so
Yeah.
connected to big purpose, like something big. And this is how they got energy, and this is how they got healed. And I also met few people like this in my podcast who came as guests, and they shared how they were diagnosed in the late stages of cancer also, and they did different things, and now they're fine, like totally healthy, and now they're helping other people to do the same. And
I
in
love
most of
that.
these cases, yeah, in most of these cases, it was just mind, power of mind, and being
Yeah.
able to focus what you want more than focus on what you don't want.
Yes. I love that.
Great. So tell us about those peptides. I know we spoke about this before, and you said that you found them very powerful for longevity. Would you like to speak about that?
I'd love to. I feel like when you and I met the first time we talked and I mentioned them, you were like, "Oh, I know about them." And it's so funny because you're probably the first person I've talked to that immediately knew what I was talking about. They don't have a lot of traction here in the US. Most people have not heard of them. And so it's kind of a fun thing to talk about because it's not a a topic of conversation in this space yet. Regular peptides are very well known here in the US with most people that are kind of in the functional medicine or holistic space. But when it comes to these peptide bioregulators, they're just not well known. So how I came across them, I had a patient come see me. She has chronic lymphatic lymphoma, and she had been hospitalized last year. She came to see me in June. She had been hospitalized last November, and when she was in the hospital, there was a medication given to her that damaged her kidneys. And so she now has a nephrologist, and I think she sees him every 6 months. And she said to him, what can we do to help my kidneys heal? And he said, well, there's nothing you can do. I'll just see you every 6 months to make sure that your disease isn't progressing. And so she was really just felt really disheartened about that. And she said, is there anything we can do for my kidneys? And I said, well, yeah, we can absolutely support them. And I think that we can probably see some positive progress. How much, I'm not sure, but we'll work on it for sure. So in that, I started just doing some research, and I came across Dr. Bill Lawrence, who is a scientist, a research scientist here in the U.S. He's also an attorney, and I say that he mentioned that he was an attorney first because attorneys are used to looking at proof, right? When they try a case or anything they do in accordance with the law, they want proof, physical proof.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so I came across this lecture he had given, and he was talking about how he had been an attorney and got kind of bored. He invested in real estate and wanted to do something else. And he said, I come from a family of I come from a family of Mormons, and the Mormons do a lot of they keep very good genealogy records. And he said, no male in my family had lived past, they all died in their 50s to mid 60s. There was no longevity with the males. Very unhealthy, died very young. And he said, I was thinking about going back to school. And so I thought, well, why not, you know, selfishly study something that could benefit me? And so he decided to be a research scientist. And he, in his research, came across Dr. Cavinson's work, Dr. Cavinson from St. Petersburg Institute of Gerontology and Peptide Bioregulators, who had found these peptide bioregulators in his study and research to help the cosmonauts. And he clinically studied them for over 40 years, had tons of data, clinical research, and Dr. Lawrence became very interested in his work, went to St. Petersburg multiple times to work with him, and ended up starting his own study here in the US on the peptide bioregulators that he's still continuing through this day. And I might add, I believe he's in his late 70s now. So he's still alive and very healthy. He looks young and vibrant. He looks very, very healthy, which is interesting. But these peptide bioregulators, they're just extremely short chains of amino acids. They're small enough that they're able to cross through the nuclear and cellular membrane and attach right to the DNA. Why does that matter? Because most things are too big. And so they have a hard time getting where we need them to go to do the work. These are so tiny, they can attach right to the DNA. And I heard two really beautiful explanations of what they do. I heard Dr. Cavinson in a lecture say, peptide bioregulators retread the tire, which I thought, okay, that's perfect. People can picture that. I also heard Dr. Bill Lawrence say, peptide bioregulators repair our repair systems. And I think that's beautiful because I often explain to people that when we're young, our metabolic rate is up here and disease is down here. And as we age, those shift, right? And our metabolic rate can't keep up with how fast disease is progressing. And so we start to see diseases take over as we get older. And that's because those repair systems are breaking down. They're getting tired, they're getting slow. Those peptide bioregulators go in and help fix that. And so through Dr. Cavinson's work, he found that when they put people on these peptide bioregulators for a year, they typically saw about a 7-year decrease in people's biological age, right? So we have our chronological age, which is how old we are based on our birthday. We have our biological age, which if we look at other people our age, kind of what our organ systems look like at that age. And so they would see this really kind of beautiful decline in the aging process. And so I just became more and more interested in them. I ended up putting this lady on a kidney bioregulator. She had started them and had been on them for about 15 days when her nephrologist ordered updated renal labs for her appointment. She got the labs back and she called me so excited. Every single one of her kidney markers had improved in 15 days. And I was blown out of the water. I did not expect that quick of a result. But it was just a really beautiful lesson in how capable the body is of healing when it has the right tools.
Mm. Yeah, I just thought about this that our body is self-healing mechanism if we give it right ingredients, yes, like those
Yeah.
bricks it can build. And our body, if we cut hand, we can see that it is recovering quickly. Yes, so we have all the processes inside to help us be healthy. And if we take
Mhm.
care of ourselves, again, as we started, like if we eat proper food, not
Mhm.
that from microwave all the time. Yeah, like most of people when they're busy, they think that they can just eat and heat
Mhm.
food in microwave. Yes, so
Yeah.
and it maybe will not show any negative effect immediately or tomorrow, but it will
Yeah.
definitely show in 5 or 10 years, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
mm, yes, like this is attitude and understanding that we have this body as a gift,
Yeah.
and we just have to value what we have and use our body with gratitude. Yes,
Mhm.
and understand that we have everything within. We just need to be conscious about how we eat, how we move, because movement is important to get energy, to get this metabolism and blood circulation. Yes, so every day we have to walk. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were not created to sit all the day. Yeah, people were created to walk, to be active, and
Yes.
also I noticed even from my experience that when I go to gym regularly, I want to go more. Every day I
Yeah.
wake up and I just feel I want to go to gym because it gets me more energy. But if I would when I wasn't going to gym for few months, I was feeling laziness. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
feeling lazy, like oh, going to gym was feeling like oh, it is so much effort, yeah, and it is
Yeah.
maybe sometimes difficult. But when you already go in there and you do it as a habit, at
Mhm.
least 3 or 4 times a week, it is just becomes part of your life and you feel good.
Yeah.
And then when you do more exercises, you feel like doing more exercises because your body for your body expects is as a necessary movements to
Yeah.
do the process which it is supposed to do.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It's one of those things when you're used to getting a certain amount of movement and you don't, it feels so strange. Like I recently had an ankle injury, and so I normally walk about 6 miles in the morning, and I haven't been able to while my ankle's healing. And I told my daughter the other day, I said, it's so funny. I'm so used to being so active that it just makes me feel like I don't feel as energetic. And also, I miss how I feel. Like I just feel bright and happy, and like I love movement, whether it's going to the gym or walking. I love moving because it makes me feel so good. And I look forward to it. When people say, "Oh, I don't know how you motivate yourself to work out," I think, I don't. I want to go. I feel so good when I go. I think
Mhm.
it's part of just creating that habit, and you get so used to it. It's just like sitting down to eat a meal. It's just part of what you do in the day?
Yes, exactly as you said, it can become a habit. When it
Yeah.
becomes a habit, you don't need to motivate yourself anymore, because
Yeah.
this is the gift of having habits. Because these habits are given us as a gift, because we can do what is necessary for us without even thinking about that, without putting efforts. Initially, we put efforts to make this
Yeah.
new thing to become our habit, but once it became habit, you don't need to spend energy anymore. It is just
Yeah.
becoming automatically, and this is just essence of you, who you become.
Yes, it's like brushing your teeth or anything else. It's just a part of your day. And when you don't have it, you're like, wait a second, I don't feel right. It's my body's missing something essential?
Yes, and you can feel that you're missing something essential only when you create a habit, and
Yeah.
you see how good it is. Yeah, and
Yes.
then if you don't do, you go backwards, and then you say, no, I'm not going backwards, I want to do again. Yes, and this is how you continue, and then it comes to the place where it just habitual behavior for you.
Yeah.
And yes, and it is so important to understand, I think, that nothing stays the same. Yeah, we can move forward and improve
Mhm.
our health, and it doesn't depend in even how old we are. It doesn't
Yes.
matter. Every day we can move forward to become better.
Hmm.
Or if we don't do anything, and if we just think, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, but it is not okay, because you will not stay this way. You move forward and become better, or you go backwards. There is nothing that stays
Yes.
the same. And if you allow yourself just to relax and think that, oh, it is okay, I'm not going to do this and that, then you will see that your energy level will be lower, and then you
Hmm.
become more lazy. Then you find that it is more difficult to do things, and like to more difficult to focus, and it is like domino effect. Yeah,
Oh,
so
totally.
yeah.
Yeah. It absolutely is. I often tell my older people that come to see me, don't stop doing things that you like doing or want to be able to do forever, because when you stop doing things, you stop being able to do things. If you reach a point where something's hurting or it's feeling uncomfortable, let's figure out why and fix that, so you can continue to be strong and vibrant and move your body, because it keeps you young.
Yes, exactly. I have mother, she is 85,
Hmm.
and sometimes she has problems with her knees.
Hmm.
And I really so encouraged by her, that I see that every time she has problems with knees, that it is a little bit difficult or painful to walk, she goes for a walk and she
Yeah.
walks.
Yeah.
And it's so good, because when you walk, causes more blood circulation, and it
Mhm.
rejuvenates.
Yeah.
And but what most of people do, they do opposite. They have pain,
Yes.
and they stay in bed, and they
Hmm.
don't move, and after time they just can find that they cannot even walk anymore. Yes,
Yeah.
because you just cannot let disease or pain or whatever dominate, because you should understand that, of course, it should be taken care of, but sometimes you have to do something, like maybe to go through pain, but you know
Yeah.
that it will make better result than if you just give up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It might be a little bit uncomfortable, but once you get moving again, you find that things start to really improve. And sometimes it's nutrients we're lacking, right? Sometimes we need to change our diet or change an exposure because it's causing inflammation or a breakdown in the body somewhere. There's always a reason, right? I don't believe we're supposed to spend our last 20 or 30 years in this slow, steady decline into decrepitness. Like I don't think that's what we're meant for. I think we've created an environment that we live in that makes it common for those things to happen, but I think it is preventable. I really do. I've seen it many times with people that prioritize their health and continue to move, continue to do things to stay strong, and they have a really high quality of life as they age.
Yes, there are many people who are 100 plus and traveling
Yeah.
and live good life. So this is again, I think a lot depends on mindset, how you see yourself. I have one friend who decided that he will live till 107 years. So
I love
yes,
it.
yes. So this is how you see yourself, because some people are 40, 50 and they already think that they're old. Yeah,
Oh,
so
totally. It's crazy.
yes, like it just unbelievable, you know.
Mhm.
Like this is like some people think that, oh, they're already old, like life already finished, like past, like this is how they get themselves old, just with the
Mhm.
thoughts. Yes,
Yeah.
and you can have opposite mindset and you can see yourself young, and just because you see yourself young, you can even maybe find a beautiful image. Yes, like create like a picture for yourself, put your head
Mhm.
there, look at yourself, like to be fit. This is what I tell myself always, like I feel myself fit, young, and full of energy. And
Mhm.
this is how I prime myself, because there was time when we moved to UK after the war in Ukraine started in 2022, and
Mhm.
it was very hard, really hard. Like it was very big emotional shock for
Yeah.
us, and it was time, like first year.
Mhm.
Although I had all this knowledge, and but first year it was really difficult. It was tough because it was difficult not to think about what is going in Ukraine, about
Mhm.
all that terrible things, and it took time for me to discipline my mind.
Yeah.
And when it was in that period of time when there was so much stress, and like we had to start life in new country just from zero. We just came with documents and just few warm clothes.
Yeah.
And I remember that time that I didn't want to do anything. Like I was feeling like I have not energy now. I just want just to, I don't know, like I was
You
in
were
such.
probably a little depressed.
Yes, exactly. I
Mhm.
don't I don't even think that a little depressed. Like it was a very big shock. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't believe that it is even really like possible, like this is really happening, and it takes time for you to just accept that it is really reality.
Yeah.
This is how I started priming myself. Like um, I noticed that I don't walk as usually. I don't do go like do exercises, and I was
Mhm.
just feeling like I want to stay in bed, and I want just
Mhm.
to. But when I came to a certain point, my self image, which I had before, it took
Mhm.
over, and it
Yeah.
just took that self image which we have about ourselves,
Mhm.
it doesn't let us go too far.
Yes.
Yes, so we go a little bit like far from what our standard is, and then our subconscious mind just gives like alarm, like okay,
Yeah.
enough, enough is enough, go back, like come back.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is how we prime ourselves. Like we should see ourselves who we really are, and we should see our body how we want it to see. So after that, now I'm in great shape. I go gym, I dance every week, and I feel amazing. Yes, and this is all again. It is a mindset. It is just
Yeah.
power. How we want to direct our attention, where we want to
Yes.
put our attention, our thoughts. and this is how we will feel.
It's so interesting that you say that. I've had some of my older people say to me recently that they're very stressed out about like the election and kind of what's happening in our country right now. And they're like, doesn't it bother you? And I'm like, it does bother me. But I try to stay informed, but I don't fixate on it because I personally can't control it. Right. I can control me. I can control what I do. There are so many things out of my control. I'm going to control the controllables. So I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm not going to constantly fill my mind with negative things because all that does is just drag you down. And I don't want that kind of energy. And so when you can get people to realize there are things you have control over, like you didn't have control over what was happening in your country and you had to leave. You did have control over your mindset and going, maybe this isn't what I would have chosen for myself, but this is where I am and I'm going to make the best of it. And I think we all have that choice in our life. Um, it reminds me of Victor Frankl's work,
Mhm.
Man's Search for Meaning. I love that book. I
Mhm.
feel like every
Yeah.
human should read that book. And it
Mhm.
really is about, again, we need a purpose and we choose. I mean, people in some of the darkest, most terrible circumstances have chosen to be happy. And it is our choice. And we make that choice every
Mhm.
day when we get up. And those choices do dictate our health. They have a massive impact on our health.
Exactly, exactly. And this is again why we have to have big goal. Yes,
Yeah.
because sometimes we will face challenges, and some of these challenges really are very painful.
Yeah.
And that is why when we have big goal, it will give us that inner power and
Yes.
endurance to overcome them. And also, what another is that helpful is to understand that we have choice what to think about, and this is so
Hmm.
important to choose consciously what we want in order
Hmm.
just automatically thinking what we don't want, what usually people do, just because there is a different activities. We have mental activity which is just on autopilot, yes, all these thoughts, chaotic thoughts, the same every day. And we have thoughts which we choose deliberately, yes, so it is
Hmm.
different processes. So when we train our mind to choose thoughts which we want to think, because we understand that our thoughts cause the feelings,
Yeah.
and feelings is what is related to our subconscious mind, and we
Hmm.
just cannot afford negative thoughts to be impressed into our subconscious mind, because what we get impressed in our subconscious mind, this is what will
Hmm.
be our GPS, because
Yeah. Yes.
yes, this is
Yeah.
like we put that direction, even if we think about what we don't want. But as we discussed earlier, subconscious mind doesn't understand you want it or not. If you think about this is what you get. Yes,
It's a really beautiful way of saying it. Like our thoughts are the directions in the GPS and they
yes,
they take
exactly.
us where we think.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
And
love that.
yeah, and it is not what you want or you don't want. It doesn't understand not or yes.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
what you focus, what is your dominating thought. Your subconscious mind as a helper, it thinks that this is what you want, and it gets you there. And
Yep.
subconscious mind is 95% of our results. It is not what we consciously think, it is that what is impressed, and this is how we feel. And this is interesting also, like some people want something but they think about this, but they feel opposite. Yes, so they will get what they feel, not what they want.
Yes. You get what you focus on.
Yes, so it is very powerful. And longevity is such important topic, because again, when we understand the power of our mind, we can make our life more beautiful and even increase, yeah, add many years to our life.
Yes, we can. We have a lot that is in our control.
Yes, because we have been created this way as creators, yeah, and our uh, like God gave us so many gifts, yes, and this
Yes.
limited potential and so many tools in how which we can use consciously,
Hmm.
yes, with our mind. And our gift to God is to use them, yes, to
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, to learn about ourselves, study who we really are, all that potential. And when we learn and do this discovery, this is what gives us again energy, because we understand we are not just victims of different situations which are not related to like which are beyond of what we can do. We can do consciously choices, and from each situation we can do the best. And another thing which I really love to mention here, that when we understand the universal laws, it helps so much. Because when we spoke about these challenges, when we know that there is the law of the opposites, and it says that in every negative situation there is exact equivalent of positive.
Hmm.
So if you just think about like everything what happens, what challenge what you ever face, that there is exactly equivalent of positive, and your task is just to look for it and you will find it, and this is how you will make good from every situation.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, amazing, Kimberly. So, what you would like to share before we wrap up our episode? Is it something that you would like to speak about?
I think the thing I always really like to leave people with is we've kind of been taught that our bodies aren't very capable, and we need someone else to tell us what our body can and can't do. But I disagree. I think our bodies are very powerful. They have an innate intelligence that God gave them, and our bodies are so capable of healing. And people will say sometimes, do you think I can heal? And I'm like, are you breathing? Yes, your body can heal, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we just don't know what's going on. And so we have to dig deep and we can't give up. Sometimes it's complex, but our bodies are they were created to be whole and healthy. And so if you're out there struggling, just know that your body's capable of healing.
Yes, and believe in yourself, believe in God, believe in universe, in potential that you have, and of course, reach out uh, to specialists who can help you. Yes, who can see best in you your potential, and who can encourage you to live the life with fulfillment and dream big and achieve
Have a
audition.
purpose.
Yeah, live with purpose and be the best and live this life with the best experience. Yes, because
I
life is beautiful.
I agree.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. So I'm really I want to say that I enjoyed this conversation so much. Every moment of it is very empowering and also educational, what we discussed today. And I'm sure that many people who are watching us will benefit from it as well.
Thank you for having me. It's been fantastic having a conversation with you. I really enjoyed it as well.
You're most welcome, and I'm looking forward to see you again in our future episodes.
Sounds great. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.